this world and all that it creates. With every passing day, the winds might grow stronger and carry us away, but we will hold on to joy to light the way, to keep the reminder that love does not escape. I'm yours forever. There is no end in sight for us, nothing could measure the kind of strength inside our hearts. It's all connected. We're all together in this love, don't you forget it. We're all connected in this love. We're all connected in this love. Even if each of us are miles and miles away, we'll build a bridge from our love to come back home again. With every passing day, the winds might grow stronger and carry us away, but we will hold on to joy to light the way, to keep the reminder that love does not escape. I'm yours forever. There is no end in sight for us, nothing could measure the kind of strength inside our hearts. It's all connected. We're all together in this love, don't you forget it. We're all connected in this love. There is no end in sight for us. We're all connected in this love. Beyond the storms and the seas, the sun and the breeze, the stars and the galaxy. Beyond the time that we take, the days that we make, I'm always gonna be with you. I'm yours forever. There is no end in sight for us, nothing could measure the kind of strength inside our hearts. It's all connected. We're all together in this love, don't you forget it. We're all connected in this love. There is no end in sight for us. We're all connected in this love.
All right. Whoa. We're a little earlier. Started a little early. Only by 1 minute. What's up, guys? Time for bed, buddy. Tell your sister. All right. So we're going to have a little bit of an open forum tonight on whatever conspiracies you guys might want to discuss. Before we get into that, so, well, it's only 32 people right now. Let me give it a few minutes. Because by the time I'm done discussing this small portion, it might double, and then people will start asking what's going on. So, what's going on, guys? Guess I'm not going to hell now since I'm on the stream tonight. Yeah, no. You were supposed to be on the stream yesterday, so you're still going to hell. Being here tonight doesn't make up for it. So, sorry about that. Just embrace it, man. Just embrace it. It's okay. You might, You're reading about the Titanic conspiracy? I don't even think I heard of that one. What's going on, Severio? Hey, Severio, I meant to ask you a question recently, and every time I get on stream, I forget. Um, are you the same Severio that designed kaiju shirts like 5 years ago? Like with your art, and then you were putting it on shirts? No, you didn't miss anything. We literally just started. Like, it hasn't even been 2 minutes yet. Rob, how are you doing? I'm sorry, I haven't seen your show a long time. Anyway, hope you're doing well, but I'm doing good. Doing good, thank you, and thank you for stopping by. Okay, so you're not. Okay. There was somebody who with the same name who used to do that. He tried to get me to promote the shirts on my channel. Shaved your head, looks clean. Yeah, except for my little cut right here. But that's all right. Yeah, the beard I trimmed. I trimmed down again. But no matter how hard I try, every time it starts growing back again, it grows longer here first. So like it looks like I have wings and it bothers me. So I'm hoping if I just keep trimming this down that everything else will catch up. So yeah, give it a few more minutes. Yeah, that there are many different ones, but the biggest one was it was swapped with a sister ship to commit insurance fraud. Never heard of that one. Never. What's going on, Kaiju? Yeah, that sounds like a reach. That's a really interesting story. I've heard about it a while ago too. You heard about that one too? Oh, I never heard of that one. I never heard of that one. The Titanic being swapped out. It's interesting. All right, cutie pie.
Not.
Nut. Oh my god, I'm so congested. Yeah. Yeah, I'll check it out in a minute. I don't want to get into the conspiracy yet. We still got people getting. We still got people coming in. So, doing good, Junior. How you doing? What's going on, Paul? What is up, Robert? You watch Nuke's Creature caught on tape videos? Yeah, I pretty much seen most of his videos. He doesn't, despite how long his channel's been around, he really doesn't have that many videos. You can pretty much go through all his videos in 1 week. And I watched all of them a long time ago. We haven't watched them all on stream, but we've watched a good port. We've watched the better ones, and so some of them that we haven't always watched just the ghost ones. It's just that all the new ones he does now are all ghost related. Was all right. How was your day? If you're talking to me, Mike, my day was pretty good. Thanks. What's going on, Esteban? And yeah, the creature videos are much more convincing than ghost videos. Um, yeah, I suppose some of the ghost videos he has are really good, but some of them are not. I mean, that's just how it's gonna be. My favorite one, oh God, I just got a couple of them. I don't think that I can have one favorite. I think there's certain videos that have good clips in them. So then if you combine those together, it would probably make my favorite. But all right, we have 50 people here. That's good enough. Um all right. So the new Playmates Godzilla figure, somebody linked it to me on Facebook and it's just it looks so bad. Um like in terms of detail, it's just not that good. There's so much less detail in this one. I mean, it's $20. Wow, it's out of stock already. I can't believe people actually bought that shit. Wow. But anyway, here it is. I mean, it's just so bad. There's no, I mean, there's not even any detail on his chest. Look at that. It's just bad. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big collector, as you guys know, but like I said, since I've bought so many of them for my son already, And since I've already seen like what NECA can do and stuff like that, this is just so bad. So yeah, I guess maybe it looks no different. In fact, I think the Jax one is better than this, in my opinion. But anyway, that's not really what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about was this description down here. Um, and it's not anything ground like it's not like a big spoiler, but I thought it was an interesting because, at least as far as I'm concerned, with the synopsis that I've read, did not include something like this. So, legends collide as Godzilla and Kong, the two most powerful forces of nature, clash in a spectacular battle for the ages. The monster war rages on the surface and deep within our world as the spectacular secret realm of the Titans, known as the Hollow Earth, is revealed. Godzilla versus Kong 2. So, I mean, with all the synopsises I've read, that's one description that hasn't. Now, of course, we all safely assume that the Hollow Earth would possibly play a role in the new movie, but it looks like it's. I mean, I thought it was a pretty interesting description, to be honest. And I wanted to make note of that because when they say realm, it's one thing we've all speculated that the idea of the Hollow Earth was for the monsters to travel from one point to another. And yeah, no, I've seen the Kong figure. Um anyway, so like I was saying, like for the monsters to travel from one point to another at a faster rate. But Secret Realm to me sounds like, there's something other than tunnels down there. Like that's where they chill, you know? Yeah, we're gonna talk about that too briefly. That Toho's losing a lot of money. The Monster War, someone gonna start some shit. Seatopia. Yeah, we're gonna find Megalon down there. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It's at least nice to see something different. We see all the synopsises; they're all pretty much the same. But and again, this is a toy description, but usually the toy descriptions are pretty on point. In fact, I'm even a little surprised they let that slide. You know, um, because while we've speculated the Hollow Earth being possibly playing a role, we didn't get any real confirmation of that. That's just something we speculated because they've talked about it in the movie. Um, so I think that's pretty cool. That's something. That's at least something to speculate on. God, I mean, Jesus. When you consider what we know at this point, I mean, this to me is at least something new to read. And that's to me that's a cool thing because one thing, two big elements, outside of the monsters, when you look at the story and the lore of the MonsterVerse, I mean, it's okay. Like the 2014, the story was all right. It wasn't nothing special. Um, I thought Skull Island had a better story, some better story elements than 2014. And then King of the Monsters, I mean, they kind of went overboard, but we got to see a little bit of possibly the Hollow Earth. I mean, we did get to see the Hollow Earth, actually, because that's where the submarine traveled through to get to Godzilla. So I guess what I'm saying is one of the things I've always liked about the MonsterVerse was Monarch. It was always something I wanted to know more about. I wanted more Monarch, and now the Hollow Earth. And it looks like we're getting at least the Hollow Earth. So I thought it was pretty cool. When I read that, I was like, oh shit. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. You know? Obviously keeping my excitement calm because it could just be a random description that the Hollow Earth will have nothing to do with the Godzilla vs. Kong movie. Also, there's someone in the chat. Where is the new description available? It's on the hell. I'll put the link in chat for you guys. I'm surprised nobody brought it up, to be honest. But I'm guessing maybe, people just kind of like shot by it, looking at the toy, looking at the price, and then they were like, that's cool. So the other story is Toho. Things are not going too well for Toho right now, and oh god, it's actually pretty bad, to be honest, from what I was reading here. Um, well, this is an old article. I'm looking for the other one. All right, so this is from Variety. Godzilla's parent Toho cannot escape coronavirus impact. Now check this out. I'm just going to skip by the first two paragraphs. For the first quarter of fiscal year 2021, from March 1st to May 31st of this year, Toho reported a plunge in revenues of 51% to 308 million compared with 632 million in the same period last year. Meanwhile, profits fell 81% to 27 million against 150 million in the first quarter of the last financial year. Theaters started reopening after the state of emergency was lifted in late May, but with dozens of foreign and domestic releases postponed, recovery has been slow. Total box office in May for Japan's 12 biggest distributors plunged 99% compared with May of 2019 to just $1.8 million, according to broadcaster NHK. On July 9th, Toho announced that its distribution earnings from box office fell by 80% compared to the same 6-month period last year to $78 million. Toho's theater business also took a massive hit in the first half, with revenues plummeting 70% to 134 million. The decrease accelerated from 14% in February to a disastrous 97% in May. Nonetheless, in June, re-releases of Miyazaki classics as Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, and Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind kept Toho in the box office top 10. New Toho films are once again appearing in theaters starting on July 17th, so that's what, tomorrow? Yeah. So I guess it's now for them. With the release of Beginning Today, It Is My Turn, a high school comedy based on popular comic, followed by The Confidence Man, JP, the episodes of The Princess. They got some weird titles for some of their movies. A caper film about a gang of glamorous con artists. Coming up in August is Doraemon. Doraemon I know about, actually. Doraemon, Nobita's New Dinosaur. The latest installment in the long-running Doraemon anime series. And in September, The Deer King, an anime based on a best-selling fantasy novel. Toho currently plans to release 15 films between July 17th and the end of the year, adding to the 6 with 2020 runs already finished. By comparison, the company distributed a total of 37 titles in 2019. Accounting for the difference are films whose releases have been pushed back to 2021, including Monster Hunter, based on a popular Capcom game that was originally set in September 4th opening, but will now appear next year. Meanwhile, rivals Toei and Shochiku are also gearing up for new releases. Toei's Ganbarawa, okay. Robocon, an animation based on, okay. Box office year to date is running about 35% of last year, and I imagine they'll be lucky to get 50% of the year for the year, says an executive at a major foreign distributor in Japan who declined to be named. The upcoming release of Beginning will be a litmus test of how much audiences are willing to return to the cinema in droves, albeit with social distancing. It is projected to gross between 23 and 28 million, but that means they need a 2-day weekend gross of 3 million to launch it. If Beginning reaches this projection, it will keep Kaiji, the final game, the concluding installment of the fantasy action trilogy that earned 19 million following its January 10 release, and is the biggest Japanese hit of the year to date. The distributor, of course, is Toho. So they're struggling right now. They're opening movies again starting tomorrow, and I hope they do well, because, we talk about future Godzilla movies and Toho doing them. you know, need that money. Need that money. And right now they've lost tons of money. They have a lot of ground to make up. So, this if they were planning on doing Godzilla movies, I would imagine that depending on when they were going to release them, it'll probably now push that project back a year or two because of what's going on. It also depends how much money Godzilla vs. Kong makes, because in Japan, Toho will get 100% of the revenue for the movie, even though it's, not their movie technically. So, that's something to watch. That's something to watch, because obviously a lot of us are hopeful that we see some Toho created Godzilla movies once the MonsterVerse is over. I'm still in the belief that the MonsterVerse will be over after Godzilla vs. Kong. And, if it hadn't gotten delayed, my guess would have been 2022 possibly for a Toho Godzilla movie. Now, with the delay of Godzilla vs. Kong and this bad news about their financial losses, if they decide to continue with the idea and the plan to do a Godzilla movie, I mean, we're looking at 2024 now, probably 2023, 2024. I'm guessing more towards 2024. So, that kind of sucks. But again, it also depends how much Godzilla vs. Kong does out there. If it does a lot of money, if it does really well, then they might get back on track. But we'll see what happens. So, just interesting stuff I wanted to discuss before we got into the other topics. And, sorry about that. I went to bed late last night and I got up super early today. 2024, we're definitely getting another Godzilla movie. Well, that's, you hope. We hope. How likely do you think it is they sell Godzilla if they don't make profit anytime soon? I don't think they'll sell Godzilla they'd have to completely shut down for them to sell Godzilla. I don't think they're going to do that. I'm pretty sure Godzilla is probably their highest grossing franchise. It's like their Marvel. Before we move on, I just wanted to say for Playmates, don't compare them to NECA. They're not a company making figures for collectors. They're really making figures for children. So because I don't understand what you're saying, James. You telling me not to compare them to NECA? Why not? My son is 7 years old. He's got NECA Godzillas he plays with. All the time. You know what I mean? I know people collect them, but a great percentage of these figures are toys. Even the more expensive ones. The ones that I consider strictly for collecting without messing in something that's not for a kid is like the higher end ones that start at like 100 and up. So, but yeah, I'm going to compare them. Why not? This is the company that's got the master license. If they've won the master license, then I expect them to develop product that is equal to or better than the last company that had it. That's how I feel. If you wanna be okay with lower standards, that's on you. I'm not. You're expecting the same quality as NECA from Playmates, but you're not going to get that from them. They're not the company that makes figures for collectors. NECA is. Okay, so what you're saying is I shouldn't have higher expectations of the company and I should just accept what they put out. So I shouldn't critique them at all. I shouldn't come out and say, I want a better product. This is shit. Because that Fire Godzilla right there, okay? When I bought that for my son, no, not the Fire one. Not the Fire one. The Fire one was more expensive because it's fire. But the other 12-inch, the normal Godzilla from NECA, when I first got it, for my son, it was $37, okay? That is only $17 more than this product right here. And there is a huge gap in quality. I know it's cheaper, but I mean, it's, to me, looking at that, I can't see that. I can't see even paying $20 for that. You know, $14.99 tops for that quality. I mean, this is bad. I don't even think this is worth $20. So, I mean, I don't know about you. It doesn't matter to me what the company is. I'm more than entitled to critique their design. And if I think their design is crap, I'm going to say it. And of course I can compare it to NECA if I want to, because I don't want to sound like an asshole, but that's my choice. Like, you can't, basically what I'm saying is you can't tell me not to compare it to NECA. I can essentially do what I want. You know what I mean? I don't see how this is worth $20 in my opinion. Now, again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a big time collector, but I'm just going by what I see. And what I see here is quality that's not even worth $20, let alone $37. So, you know. Rob, you overpaid. NECA figures can go as low as 25. So look at that. I didn't even think I overpaid. He's telling me I overpaid. So what he's saying is that 12-inch NECA Godzilla figure, that's the same one as the Fire Godzilla, except it's the normal one. It's not the Fire one. Was $25. He's seen it as cheap as $25. I personally don't believe that, but if he's right, then you're looking at a $5 difference in price, and this is a horrible design. So that's what you get out of kids' toys today. Yeah, but James, that's not necessarily true. My son has kids' toys that are much better designed. I mean, I was just giving you an example. I mean, he plays with his NECA figures, and they're not wrecked or anything. They're perfectly fine in condition. In fact, they're nice and sturdy for someone to play with. I mean, the distinction between a figure and a toy is not that far away. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I don't know, maybe it's because, like, all right, so like the 84 here, I consider that a figure. You would never play with that. Number one, because of the amount of detail, and number two, because of the price, you know, and then the size. This right here, like, I encourage him not to play with these, but at the same time, these things are like boulders. Like, if he's roughhousing with this thing is not breaking. And he's done that. So to me, that's a toy, you know? This is heavier, almost as heavy as this is. This right here, and I'm holding them right now, this right here is almost as heavy as this. Seriously. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. They're almost the same weight. So, like, but obviously nobody would ever play with this, because this to me is something that you put on display. I kind of look at this as you could do both. You could put this on display, but if you're a little kid that somebody bought this for you, you can play with this. And he has. And they're still in great condition. I mean, they're made sturdy. So, you know, I know us older guys, we don't see them as toys because, we don't want to say, hey, look at this toy I got. But it's a toy. It's a toy, you know? Big Bad Toy Store, okay. Honestly, I personally think Mattel would have been better option. They're killing it with their dinosaurs for the Jurassic Park line. Yeah, it's all about the subjectivity of toy and figure. I guess it's all good. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that argument stands here, because that's a toy. Like, period. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a figure. What I'm saying is it can be both. You know, you could be someone who's a collector and buys it and puts it on display, but it can just as easily be something you give to a young kid who's going to rip the box open and start playing with it. I think that's the best way to describe it. So if we look at it from that standpoint, I look at this right here, that ain't worth putting on display. I would roughhouse this thing if I had it and beat the shit out of it. It'll probably break on the first day. If it's accurate that this is $5 cheaper than a NECA figure of the same size, I think these guys have some work to do. That's just my opinion. I mean, think about it, right? Doesn't that upset you? Like, NECA doesn't have the license anymore. They clearly make better figures. There's a price difference of $5, and the quality difference is so astronomically large that I think it's worth saying, hey, Playmates, step up your game. Because for $5 more, I could have had this. Because if you go and buy it and you give them money, then they're not going to have any motivation to do better. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I get it. Some people are collectors. They'll just buy it for the sake of collecting it. I wouldn't do that even if I was a collector. My money still has value. I feel the company with the master license should accommodate, but children who want to play and detailed focused collectors. What? Should accommodate both children who want to play and that's what and I agree, and I think that's why NECAs are pretty good, because that right there could be a toy or a collector, or for a collector. You know, my son, I mean, me and my son are living proof. I have it sitting here. I don't play with the goddamn thing, but my son has. Still in good condition. Still looks good. I mean, it kind of fits both purposes. This, that is shit. I wouldn't, like, if my son asked for that, I'm not getting it. I'm not spending $20 for that shit. That's garbage. That's garbage. I think the Mecha G is what really will persuade fans, because they probably won't get a Godzilla versus Kong Mecha G figure or toy anywhere else. I'll take a picture and just leave it on my desktop, and when I want to appreciate it, I'll open it up. I'm not buying it. Joshua, like, you know, there's a fine line between collecting and just burning money. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, think about it. I'm not a collector, but shit, I'm not gonna spend. It doesn't matter how much it is. I'm not gonna spend anything on. I'm not gonna spend on anything that's less than what I want. You know what I mean? And in fact, my long 6 years of patience paid off, because this G84 is by and large much better than the original one I wanted, which was a lot lighter skinned and not nearly as detailed. How did the Godzilla movies video do? I haven't even looked at it. I don't think it did that much. I think last time I looked, it was maybe at 1 something. You know, I got to get back into doing videos before people start trusting me to put up videos again. Godzilla's design in Godzilla vs. Kong is the exact same. Godzilla vs. Kong is the exact same from King of the Monsters. If you want NECA, Godzilla vs. Whoa. Oh, did my thing just die? Gonna have to charge the headset for a little bit. All right, I'm gonna go wired for a little while. Rob, read my last comment. I can't post it again, or else it'll be spam. The Playmates figure is 11 inches tall. The NECA was 6 inches tall. An 11-inch NECA figure would cost $60. So the Playmates figure. So this is 11 inches. Okay, the NECA is 6. You're actually making my case stronger.
What?
Because $25. Hold on 1 second here. $25 even for. I think that one's a 12. when you consider the detail of the NECA one, see, the one I got him was 37. I thought that was maybe I got him the 12. Oh, I can't remember now. I'm looking it up right now. Give me a second. I mean, either way, I just don't think that's worth $20. Even at 11 inches, that's not worth $20. It's just bad. Here we go. Okay, so the Burning Godzilla is here. $40, 12-inch. $20 difference. I mean, this particular, now this is not King of the Monsters. This particular, it's 1962 Godzilla, 12 inches, $23.99. But do you see the difference in detail? And I already know by owning another prior one of what the quality is made of. But do you see the difference in detail here compared to this shit? It doesn't. Look at the chest. They couldn't even take the time to put detail on the chest. Look at the eyes. Like, he looks like he's smiling. No, nothing on the tail. Like, in terms of, like, the detail. Like, that looks more flat. This has, yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's worth $20. If I had a choice between this for 20 and paying another $3 more for something that, like this, I mean, I think it's an obvious choice in my opinion. I think it's an obvious choice. All right. Jack Specific. How about the Spiral Studios King Ghidorah from King of the Monsters? Now that thing is nuts. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Jack. I mean that's how I'm kind of thinking of it. You know, like I rather pay for the overall quality. You know, like I think that's why I like the NECA ones because to me they kind of are universal. Like if you're a collector, you can buy one and put it on display. And if you're a kid and somebody buys it for you, you can just as easily play with it. It's not going to be it's not cheaply made, you know what I mean? Um Let me see. All right, Bandai got that's Bandai. That's NECA. That's NECA. Where's Jack's? Let me see here. And here's the NECA 12 real quick before I pull up the Jacks. I mean, look at this. This is a 12-inch by NECA, $40. Godzilla 2019. I mean, look at that. Look at the difference in detail. Look at that. That detail is insane compared to the. I mean, really? $20 difference in price point. Yeah, I get it. But if I was given the choice to buy this for $20 and buy this for $20 more, I'm running with this all the way. It's not even a comparison. I'm going with this all the way. And this is only $39.99. It's not $60. It's not $60. I mean, this is gorgeous. This is not the one my son. My son has the blue one. But shit, this is actually very nice. Let's put that in the cart for some pondering. I think I'm actually gonna get that one. I like this. That's actually very nice. I'm gonna get that one. I like that. The detail on that is insanely good. What do you mean hating on what? Are you talking about something else? Is Godzilla 89 still in stock? Go check. I'm not gonna start shopping for you. Come on now. Let's not get crazy. No, I'm just messing. Let me see. You talk about the NECA one, Godzilla 89? Um, I don't see it.
Stephen Miller tipped $1. Why are we comparing the Playmates figures to NECA when they are much closer to Yak's Pacific?
I just explained myself. Like, if you weren't here for that, I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound like an asshole. But I just, basically, the bottom line is this. Just because it's a different company doesn't mean you should lower your expectations. I mean, I wouldn't care if they were both making figures because I know what I'm going to get from NECA, so I don't have to worry. But if Playmates are the only ones doing the license now and NECA isn't, then I'm not going to lower my expectations or my standards. I'm going to critique them because I have more. You're the sole license holder now. You can't go selling this bullshit. You got to do better. Like, I don't know. I mean, don't you guys think about it? All right? You're spending your money, your hard-earned money. Would you really want to spend $20 on this? Let me know anybody here. Would you really spend $20 on this? I mean, if you would, that's fine, I guess. But I just think it's such a step down in quality. I honestly think $20 is too much money for this. You already ordered? Yeah, well, you always burn your money on figures. Like, I understand. I know that some of you guys are, I collect just to collect. I don't give a shit. I'm just saying, I value my money. You know what I mean? I cannot see myself burning $20 on this. Even $15 is a stretch. Even $15 is a stretch. Huh? I wouldn't buy him this. If it was his own money, that's one thing. If it's Christmas money, he wants to burn it on this, that's fine. But I wouldn't buy this for him. I'd be like, you're not getting this.
Tagara Godzilla super chatted $2. Tell him about a big kinky. What about the kinky?
I don't know what you're talking about. Thanks for the dono though. I don't know what you're talking about. It's to play with, Rob. It's not to sit on a shelf. Well, why don't you tell that to James, because he ordered one and I know for a fact he's not going to play with it. So what are you trying to say? I just made my case earlier. This figure right here, you can do both with this. You can play with this and you can sit it on a shelf. What's the problem? What's the problem with making a universal figure that you can put both on display and play with? Because I tell you right now, my son plays with this. He plays with his other NECA one, and they're still in great condition. I mean, they're made well. I can tell you right now, that's not made well. I'm almost tempted to order one to kind of look at it and then send it back and get my money back. I remember now. Wasn't it about the weather control? Oh, you guys just talk. Yeah, I'm sorry. We have to get into conspiracies, don't we? Oh, it's only 8:40. Yeah. Play with families? Wait, what? I mean, you can let it sit on a shelf, but my main point of it being made is to play with family. Is to play families. I didn't see it on there, Cosmo. I typed it in and looked. It wasn't there. That's not the point. Yeah, I mean, Assassin. I don't know. Don't start again. All right. The point I'm trying to make is I understand that they're all toys. Okay, I'm not saying that to demean anyone who likes to collect them. They're all toys. They're all made as toys. Even the NECA ones are toys. All right. When the people who collect them, they don't care. They just do them to collect them and put them on display. They're all toys. Whoa, Seminole Gamer with the God tier carry. Thanks for joining. Appreciate that. And watch, a shark's going to pop up. I still haven't changed that. It's bad. I need to change that. Thank you, though, for joining. Yeah. Pop figures are expensive, but they're fun to collect. Yeah. What? Oh. NECA doesn't care what you do with the toys. They just want your money. Yeah, I mean, but I do think with NECA, I think they again, I couldn't say this if I didn't have the experience of the one, but my son's got a couple of NECAs already. And I can tell you, as the sole purchaser of these toys for him, and actually having them in my hand and all this good stuff, I find NECA figures to be universal. I think they can be considered a collecting figure, and they can also be used as a toy for a kid. That's that. I mean, I don't think that's a bad assessment. I think that's, in my opinion, I think that's pretty accurate. Yes, they're perfect for sitting on a shelf to display, but my son has had a ball with them. He's had a good time. My son's 7 years old. I don't know that con one. Face wise, it's a lot better, I guess. Let me put this up on the thing. Hold on. Okay. But I don't know. Even the Kong one's not all that great. It's a little bit better. Let me pull up the Kong one. Hold on. It's a little bit better, but not much. This is the Kong one. So zoom in. But it's like, I don't know. To me, this looks like zero effort right here. Look at this whole area. It's like all the same. It's like all one texture or whatever. It just all looks the same. Like there's no detail. You got, I don't know. It's just me. I just don't like them. I just wouldn't spend $20 on them. That's just me. To me, that's $20 is too much. Yeah, I mean, I would like them to step it up if they're going to be the sole developers. But if people are going to buy them, why should they try? If they're going to make them cheap, if they're making them cheap and they're selling it and people are buying it, then they're not going to just going to have to wait until, God forbid, they get the license back in 2 years. Holy shit. I'm going to have to find something else to buy my kid because I wouldn't buy them this. It can't be super hard and stuff when you're playing with them in your hands. It would hurt. Assassin, my son is proof that you're wrong. Like, this is what I understand. You come in here saying all this shit like you're like you think you're spitting facts. And my son is living proof that that statement right there is absolutely incorrect. I just want you to know that. Here, I'll do some. I'll give you something exciting to do, Kaiju. There you go. Let me know if you're still bored in 3 minutes. I mean, I don't know. If I'm watching a stream and I'm bored, I'm not gonna watch a stream anymore. So I don't know if you're saying that because you're dumb or you're just trying to like deliberately insult me. All right, let's move on. I wanted to talk about, in terms of conspiracy theories, one of the things I wanted to talk about initially, was the whole Twitter hack yesterday. But it turns out that it was an inside job at Twitter. Turns out it wasn't anything foreign. So, hold on a second. It can't be super hard and stuff. Blah 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 blah. That's all you're saying. I don't understand. I don't. I kind of lost what you were trying to say. Bohemian Grove. I think we've spoken about that one before. Look at Mike. Mike's getting aggravated. It's time for conspiracies. Um. Well, it was a bunch of people. Elon Musk, Joe Biden, Barack Obama. Uh, there were a couple of other people. Is the real conspiracy is NECA versus Playmates versus Bandai? Rob, can we talk about reptilians? Oh, I guess we could. I mean, that's another one I've talked about before, but I don't. I like to talk about conspiracies that might actually be true. I don't consider reptilians to be in the potential true category. You know, you're a reptilian. Oh, okay. Send a picture. These are large scale figures. I have their current giant ones, and they are way bigger than the NECA figures. That's why they cost around the same. Yeah, but bigger doesn't mean more expensive. Or it shouldn't when the quality's that shit. I could understand if they made them bigger and the quality was at least decent, but the quality is horrendous. I feel like you've talked about all the conspiracy theories that could be true. Well, no, there's more. I think like there's more recent ones, you know? Rob, that sounds like something a reptilian would say. Some of y'all need to find Rob videos on many conspiracy theories he's done in the past. Did you hear about the kid in juvie in California who was forced to take estrogen injections against his will? He essentially started becoming female against his own will. Yeah, well, that's the world we're in. They aren't more expensive. They are cheaper by line. Not really, James. He hasn't heard about the Titanic one. They look... okay. I tried to do the whole twinkle thing from Ghostbusters, but it's... I tried to do the whole twinkle thing from Ghostbusters. Would it go over 20 next? Okay, I'm not going to finish reading that. I have no idea what you're talking about. I've like read it twice, and I'm like, what is he talking about? Growing up? Okay. Night. It looks better, right? Yeah. It doesn't look like I have wings coming out the side of my face. No, still need to cut it down. I did it very carefully. I just glided it on the very top. What are you doing? Oh. A little bit more there. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Have a good night. I put Kaiju on timeout. He was bored, so I gave him something to do. All right. Theorized that Scorpions lead singer was told to write a song by the CIA in order to help. And I did a video on that, Scrap. I know which one you're talking about. And that's one of my more recent conspiracy videos from like early last year. I think they tried to do the same thing to John Lennon. How about JFK pushing for the movie 7 Days in May? How about this? Here's a conspiracy that I think leans true. The question is, when do you think it's going to happen? And that is a war between U.S. and China. And believe it or not, a war between these two countries has been brewing since like late 80s, early 90s. My father's been talking about it for years. Rob, have you heard of the conspiracy on the triads killing Bruce Lee? No, actually, I haven't heard about that one. Probably not for another decade. Nah, I think it's going to be sooner than that. The way things are escalating now, they're basically having a sanction war right now. It's not going to happen, and if it does, it will be cyber. I think it'll start off cyber. Yeah, but China being huge has nothing to do with whether or not they're going to win. Most of their army is famished. I saw a documentary on that. Like they have a big army, yes, but a lot of them are not well kept or properly trained. They're basically just tossing numbers out there. It's like, go shoot your gun and hope you get lucky. Probably within hopefully 25 to 30 years. Why do you say hopefully? It wouldn't surprise me if war breaks out between the two countries by the end of the year. I mean, think about it. It's 2020. Okay? I'm betting on the end of the year. In the U.S. is when China will decide to declare war on us. Rob, did you hear of China's social system? Not sure if it's true, but it's like Black Mirror. Yes. Yes, it's actually very much like the Black Mirror episode with, what's her face? Bryce Dallas Howard, the one with the social media. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a true thing. That's what I love Black Mirror, because that show pretty much depicts what the future will look like based on technology. And yeah, they've actually implemented a social media structure very very similar to that episode. If you guys haven't watched Black Mirror, let me see what the name of that episode is. The Plunge. I think it's called The Plunge. So for those of you guys who have Netflix, go watch Black Mirror. It's a very, very good show. White Christmas is one of my favorite episodes. But basically it's a show about like how technology can change, how close we are to the technology that they represent on the show. And there's an episode called The Plunge with Bryce Dallas Howard, where basically social media determines whether you can own a car or whether you can own a house, what kind of house. And the way it works is that the more stars you have or more likes or however prominent you are on social media is kind of like a credit system. And that's how you can, and they have a system like that in China. They've started. Yeah, popularity scale.
Tagara Godzilla super chatted $5. Ray said what about tell him about the Twinkies. Dr. Venkman said what about the Twinkies?
Oh, yeah, okay, I remember that scene. Okay. I believe is excellent. It really hit a home and got me, but it was so well done. Is that the one where the guy's in the house and they're doing like a real life, like Resident Evil type game? He's actually living through it as opposed to playing it on a controller. And then he runs into the spider that has a human face. Oh man, that one's creepy. That one's creepy, but it's good. Black Mirror is the Black Museum. Yeah, that one's pretty good because they kind of reference everything in all the other episodes. When are we going to see the must be live pigs in this world? Who's going to fuck a pig on? Well, I think the message behind that episode is something actually you're seeing in life now is how, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess sick would be the word. But how something like that can happen and people will actually watch it. You know what I mean? It's almost glorified. You see that happening daily now. Or how about the episode where the fucking digital Tasmanian devil, I think it's Waldo, or some kind of digital character, becomes like the prime minister. because like the people willed it. Yeah. I mean, a lot of those episodes are very parallel to what's happening in real life. It's pretty spooky. But the shows are damn good. I actually like Metalhead. That's a little off from some of their other episodes because it's more apocalyptic, but I don't know why, I just love that episode. Do you think we will get to war with China or North Korea first? China, definitely. Dude, it's already kind of brewing. For the first time, the United States has declared they're no longer neutral in the South Asian Sea. They're literally telling China to stop expanding. And the reason they're pulling out, here's the thing. The reason they're pulling the troops out of Afghanistan is, yeah, some of them are going to come home, but the rest are going to take a detour to the South China Sea. I'm telling you, man, I think it's brewing. One or two things are going to happen before the end of the year. Either a civil war breaks out here, or we break out in a war with China. This year just has all that shit written all over it. If World War III was to happen, it would end quickly because Rob would step in. No, Lenny would. Lenny would end that shit real quick. In my opinion, the scariest Black Mirror episode is Shut Up and Dance. Imagine having a large network of people blackmailing you. Yeah, but again, you see that happening now to some extent. Not necessarily blackmailing, but cancel culture. You know, how social media has such a heavy influence. Chris goes, I haven't beaten Resident Evil 7 yet. I'm playing it on VR. I'm looking forward to Resident Evil 8. China and North Korea will ally? Yeah, but what does North Korea have to offer? North Korea, those people are dying there. China and U.S. was in a worse situation 6 years ago and nothing happened. It's funny you mentioned that because they were talking about that today. On the news, they were talking about, I forget what it was exactly that happened, but apparently that's not what they think. They think that while that was very bad, they think that what's going on now is even worse. Because since then, China's gotten a lot more powerful and a lot more aggressive. I mean, think about it. They're fighting on a border with India. Okay, they're even pushing up on Russia. There's a city like, let me see if I pull up the map. I don't know what the city name is, but I heard in the news today that there's a city that belongs to Russia technically, and China's trying to lay claim to it. So, like everybody, like China is going hard body right now. Ever since the coronavirus hit the world, China has been on full steam ahead mode. In Kerbal Space Program instead of... Here's what I think. We will barely win the war with China, but we would lose the Civil War. The Civil War is all on social media, and the mainstream media and the far left has full control of both. I disagree in a major way. Number one, even if the Civil War is a modern Civil War where it's social media dependent, that war is not going to be won by the left. It's not going to be won by the left. Even if just because they have a loud voice on social media, and just because a lot of the institutions are heavily left-sided, you got to remember that the final word comes from people. You know what I mean? And I could tell you right now, things will get more aggressive, especially if Trump wins. But those social media platforms have already gone too far. All they have to do is make a change to the legislation that protects them. Once they change that, and they're going to change it, even if it's not Donald Trump, the Democrats want to change that. Once that gets changed, and I'm telling you that's going to get changed before the end of the year, that's going to put an end to that shit. Well, for better or for worse, it's going to put an end to it. So I'm not worried about that. I mean, it's annoying right now, but I think that's coming to an end soon, especially after what happened yesterday. Because think about it. So what happened yesterday with the hacking on Twitter, that was actually someone on the inside. They actually had screenshots. And what that shows is that there are too many people on the social media, these Silicon Valley companies, that have way too much power. Think about if somebody was working for Twitter and decided to hack into somebody's account from the inside. And instead of putting a Bitcoin scam, they instead decide to use Barack Obama's or somebody's high-end account to make a post that would, let's say, for example, Elon Musk, somebody took over Elon, like they did it last night, but let's say they take his thing again. They say Elon Musk passes away and it super trends on Twitter. Do you know how that would fuck up the stock market? All it takes is one critical tweet from one of these major accounts of a politician or a big tech guy or a business person that would plunge the stock market. With that kind of threat, if you don't think for 1 second they're not already considering making some significant changes. I mean, even yesterday, the stock market got affected by what happened on Twitter. It's a matter of time before those social medias, they're gonna get regulated hard. And I'm just hoping that if they do, it's not by the Democrats. But if it's by the Democrats will just take it over. They'll just make it a government form. But if the Republicans do it, what they'll do is they'll change the legislation so that these companies are held more accountable for some of the things that happen, especially security. So in terms of a war with China, the only way the United States gets decimated is if they try to go in with their naval fleet, because China has an astronomical amount of missiles that will just overwhelm a naval fleet. Even with the anti-air defenses that the Navy has, there was a documentary about this, but basically what it is that there's not enough anti-air defenses to withstand the amount of missiles that China has. So it would be a ground war. Now, ground war would be bloody, but the United States would decimate them on the ground, because the army troops for China, while they outnumber the United States, they have no tactical discipline and they're not kept well. They're starved, they're overworked. So it's basically a matter of numbers. And in terms of air, I mean, pretty much the United States dominates the air all over the place. So, but even then that would be tough because they would need their aircraft carriers, which would get bombarded. So it would be a ground war, and it would be bloody, but it would be a massacre against them more than anything. I mean, we would definitely lose a lot of troops. There's no doubt about that. But in terms of sheer numbers, like kills to death ratio, I mean, China would get ratioed hard in that kind of fight. Not to mention whatever allies we get. India would jump in. India's not playing anymore. They're ready to fight. Only way I can see us avoiding a war with China is if Joe Biden wins. Yeah, that's the other bad thing. Because if Biden wins, then he's just going to give China everything they want. They'll get fucked. Because think about what's happening right now. That executive order that was just passed by the president basically takes away any assets or anything of value from any company that has anything to do with China right now. That's a lot of company. Did you know that China owns Smithfield Pork, which is the number one pork distributor like in the world? Definitely in the country. And remember where H1N1 came from. China's full of viruses, man. Yes, see, we already spoke about that. You do realize the current president is a celebrity. What does that have to do with the executive order he just wrote? Joe Biden would sell out to China faster than... Yeah, he would. He would make this country harder, better, faster, stronger. Yeah, China's, forget it. They're ground zero for viruses. And then there's that other virus they have that I think I told you guys about it a couple of weeks ago. There was a doctor that reported that they have another coronavirus that, if they're not careful, could easily become a pandemic itself. So just wait another 5 years. China has been bullied since the dawn of human history. Well, they've gotten worse over the years. The more power they've gotten, the more aggressive they've gotten. Also, Reagan was a celebrity, Mr. L, and may consider him one of the best presidents ever. Yeah, I think the best president ever is probably Teddy Roosevelt, based on what he's accomplished. We say that, but we still have a hard time with lesser nations like Nam and yeah, but China's not a lesser nation. The reason Nam was tough for the United States was because they used guerrilla warfare, something that the United States wasn't familiar with. China won't be using guerrilla warfare. They'll be trying to use brute force. You got to remember, there's 350 million people in the United States. There's 1.6 billion people in China. So they're going to have a lot of troops. They're just going to try and Zerg rush the United States. FDR? I don't know about that. We are literally living in a movie, 2020 Empire Strikes Back. No. See, that's the problem. People think of entertainment when they think about these serious world issues. And that's like subconsciously softening the blow. No, this is real life, dude. Okay, this is real. We gotta learn to understand that. Like, I love entertainment, I love my movies and all that, but that stuff, that's why it's called escapism. That's there to escape for a little while, but eventually you gotta face reality. Zerg, Russian man of culture, you're damn right. Plus, I love StarCraft. And stick Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hell yeah, 2020 because Stone Cold said so. Just because China has way more troops than the United States does not mean that we can't win. Oh yeah, exactly. If anything, like I said, they have no tactic.
Tagara Godzilla super chatted $5. If you see this wish pickle machine and made a wish, what would it be?
I guess it would be a pickle, right? So the wish pickle machine. Yeah. No, I'm not saying FDR is bad. When you consider what Teddy Roosevelt did, I mean, that's why he's on Mount Rushmore. Tagara Godzilla is asking some interesting questions. He's trying to be like Bobby Reynolds. I just love to express my thoughts and feelings on these topics, but I must go. My phone is going to die. All right, Assassin, take it easy. I'd wish that China would be a lot more nicer and that the coronavirus never existed. Yeah. No. You don't have to apologize about it. I just kind of want to, like it wasn't. I'm sorry if it sounded like I wasn't attacking you. I'm just saying, like, yeah, you kind of can't think that way. Like, unfortunately, we have a very numb society now, and that's not like the people's fault. That's, it's just a very different country than it was even 10 years ago. Very ultra sensitive people out there. So many people hate this country when they don't realize that there's far worse things going on around the world. Like all these people who complain on Twitter and they bitch and moan about this country. You put them in any other country in the world, they wouldn't make it. They wouldn't make it, and half of them would die. All this LGBTQ, like that whole community, they bitch and moan about this country. Meanwhile, you put them down in Afghanistan, they're going to get shot just for being gay. The fact that they can be gay here and free and talk about being free and still shit on this country freely, they have no idea what it's like to be in another country. They'd get killed. They would get decapitated or stoned to death with everybody watching them. So, I agree, Kaiju. Social media is like, my favorite president is the one that are not Democrat. Yeah, Democrat, the Democratic Party, there was a time the Democratic Party was a very good party. That's what you call now the moderates, That whole guard is gone now. Yep, these people you speak of need some perspective. Yeah. I would love to take all the snowflakes and dump them in like the Middle East for like a week and then bring them back and see how much they hate this country afterwards. I think that's what we should do. Like, if I was president, I would do that. I'd be like, if you're a social justice warrior, sign up for our reality check program. I'll dump all these motherfuckers in the Middle East for 1 week, and if they survive, they can come back, and I guarantee you they'll love America. I guarantee you. Just 1 week in the Middle East. Go and bitch to them about women's rights and being gay. And if you make it back alive, I promise you, you'll love America. That's it. Rob, you're right about that. They don't take into account in other countries. Their cultures need to be respected, but their cultures will not treat you like... Yeah. Yeah. I'd be considered a tyrant of a president if I did that. But I bet you any amount of money I make my point. So I know this is not a necessary conspiracy topic, but I think it's... I mean, it's not conspiratorial because I think the possibility is very true. But it is something that is being spoken about, and there's a lot of conspiracy surrounding it, you know? Like, even last night, before people found out, before the news broke that it was an inside job, a lot of people thought it was a power play by China, trying to show us that, you know, we control you, we control your system. There was a lot of people who thought that. And that is a good... That's what I thought. In fact, who was I talking to? Omni, remember? Remember I told you, Omni, last night when we were talking about that, the Twitter thing, and I was like... Yo, I think that's a power play by China. Or I said something along the lines of I told you I thought it was a power play. And you were like, yeah, I think so too. And yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. Or at least that's what I thought it was. And then it came out that it turned out to be an inside job. I'm surprised what WTF Productions didn't show up. He was here earlier. It'll be like the Donald Duck episode where... Hold on. I don't want Mike to feel like I'm ignoring him. I've heard of Plum Island, but I don't remember the details, so I'm pulling it up. Okay, yeah. I remember reading about this. In fact, I think I saw an episode of this, or an episode on the show about this. It's like it's supposed to be a bioweapons research facility. Yeah, I heard of Plum Island. What do I think about it? It wouldn't surprise me. I think there's a lot of hidden facilities around the country that are probably legit. I think Area 51 was legit before maybe a couple of years ago. I don't think Area 51 is a thing anymore. Like, it's still there, but whatever things were happening there, I don't think happened there anymore. I think it's happening somewhere else because it's just Area 51 is too well known now in the public. You know what I mean? There's no more hiding it. So... Rob, what's your opinion on The Simpsons What? The Simpsons predictioning? Or do you mean The Simpsons predicting stuff? The glacier? When certainly aspects of science fiction is an actual reality. No, people can't sneak into Area 51, but there's still a lot of people who go there. Like, whatever things they used to do there, whatever activity they used to do in the surrounding area, I don't think they feel comfortable enough doing it there anymore because there's too many people who know about it. I don't know anything. I don't watch The Simpsons, so I don't know about anything about the shows predicting anything. That's one show I can never get into. Kaiju, make up your mind, dude. Every stream, you're like, yo, I gotta go. And then, like, you're still here. Just go. You don't gotta tell me you gotta leave. Just go. Plus, I thought you were bored.
Newts for Kaiju tipped $1. Sup guys, this isn't a pro-Trump thing, but if Biden wins, the left will take over and you can forget about having or utilizing any of the first few amendments. You can't even say all lives matter when that was the premise of MLK's I Have a Dream speech.
Yeah, I mean, there was that woman who got shot in the head twice for saying it. Had a 3-year-old kid. 3-year-old kid's mom's dead now because she said all lives matter. It's fucking horrible. Doesn't the Bible speak about all of this stuff happening before Jesus comes back? Famine, plagues, rumors of war, and so on. Yeah, it's just hard to kind of pinpoint that because, I mean, when we had H1N1, it was the same shit. Who shot that woman? A Black Lives Matter protester. Anybody hear about the crazy shit Nick Cannon said? It was wild. He got fired from Viacom over it. Yeah, he was talking about how the reason white people, well, his definition was that white people have no soul and they're savages because they don't have melanomin or pigmentation. In other words, they don't have color. Fuck is that? Oh my God. The conspiracy that is random that I found interesting was about Buster Crabbe, an M16 driver, and a Royal Navy frogman who disappeared in 1956. It's a top secret. The files can't be opened until 2057. Oh, that sounds weird. There was a Simpsons episode about a pandemic, and Dr. Hibbert told people to go down to a large truck for the vaccines, which ended up having large boxes of killer bees. Yeah. Yeah, Mariah Carey is half white. We just talking about random conspiracies and some of the happenings in the world, whether or not China and the United States will be at war before the end of the year. Yeah. Yeah, that's what OmniBlast just brought up. Was what he said yesterday about the Jewish people and white people being savages. Yeah, that was just the stupidest shit I ever heard. Rob, do you think the U.S. owns territories we don't know about? Probably. Or maybe not own outright, but probably they control it. Did anyone acknowledge the red spot on Rob's head? Yeah, I acknowledged it earlier in stream. It's called a cut. Because if you notice from yesterday, I shaved my head. Does anyone take what Nick Cannon says seriously, though? No, I don't think anyone did. But that doesn't make it any more right. You shouldn't be saying dumb shit like that. I don't think it's predicting stuff rather than writing outlandish shit to be funny. Now truth is weirder than fiction. Yeah. Well, you think that's bad? What about, even though it got walked back now, they're not going to put it up in the museum, but the Black History Museum with that white culture display they came up with, where like it got slammed so hard that they removed it. Like, let me see if I can find it here. Okay, here it is. If you guys didn't hear about this, wait till you hear this shit. Excuse me. Yeah, the Smithsonian Black History Museum came out with a, here it is. White culture. So, actually, let me see if I can save this. Zoom in on it because it's kind of small. All right, here we go. Okay, talking about here, so you guys can see too. I'll move it to the side a little bit. All right, white dominant culture or whiteness refers to the way white people and their traditions, attitudes, and ways of life have been normalized over time and are now considered standard practices in the United States. And since white people still hold most of the institutional power in America, we have internalized some aspects of white culture, including people of color. Rugged individualism. The individual is the primary unit, self-reliant. These are considered white things and that are bad. Independence and autonomy, high valued plus rewarded. Individuals assumed to be in control of their environment. You got what you deserve. The nuclear family, father, mother, 2 to 3 children, is the ideal social unit.
Stephen Miller tipped $1. Things will get biblical. Fire and brimstone falling the sky, rivers and seas boiling, 40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes, the dead rising from the grave, human sacrifices, cats and dogs sleeping together, mass hysteria.
All right, Pete. Husband and breadwinner and head of household. Wife is homemaker and subordinate to the husband. Children should have their own room. Children should have their own rooms. Children having their own rooms is whiteness. Children having their own rooms is whiteness. Being objective, being a rational, linear thinker, cause and effect relationships, quantitative emphasis is whiteness. And of course, this is all racist by their definition. History based on Northern European immigrants' experience in the United States. Heavy focus on the British Empire, the primacy of Western Greek, Roman, and Judeo-Christian tradition. Hard work is the key to success is whiteness. It's racist. Work before play. If you didn't meet your goals, you didn't work hard enough. It's racist. Christianity is the norm. Anything other than Judeo-Christian tradition is foreign. No tolerance for deviation from a single God concept. Not true, but it's considered racist. Wealth equals worth. Your job is who you are. Respect authority. Respecting authority is racist. It's whiteness. Heavy value on ownership of goods, space, and property. Time. Follow a rigid time schedule is racist. It's whiteness. So if you get to work on time, you're a racist. Time viewed as a commodity. Plan for the future. If you plan for the future, you're a racist. Delayed gratification. So in other words, if you put responsibility in front of like getting that next NECA figure, you're a racist. You're white. Progress is always best. So if you're trying to progress in life, you're racist. Tomorrow will be better. Optimism. Racist. Based on European culture, steak and potatoes, bland is best. Racist. If you like steak and potatoes, you're a racist. That makes me a racist. I love me some meat and chops and potatoes. Women's beauty based on blonde, thin Barbie. It's bullshit, but if you like blonde and thin, you're a racist. Man's attractiveness based on economic status, power, and intellect. Hey, when my wife met me, I was fat, work overnights in a meat locker at Walmart. So that's not true. But if that's what you look for, you're a racist. Holidays based on Christian religions, based on white history and male leaders. Not true, but racist. Based on English common law, property, protect property and entitlements until intent counts. So protecting property and entitlements, so like that couple in St. Louis, protecting their home, racist. Competition, be number one. If you strive to be number one, you're a racist. Win at all costs. Within the rule set, they didn't mention that. But if you try to win at all costs or be competitive, you're a racist. Action orientation, master and control nature must always do something about a situation. So if you're active, you know what I mean? If you're out there and you're trying to make a change for the better, racist. If you make decisions, you're racist. Majority rules when whites have power. Majority rules doesn't only pertain to whites, but it doesn't matter because if you believe in majority rules, you're a racist. Communication. Written tradition, avoid conflict and intimacy. Don't show emotion. Don't discuss personal life. Be polite. Being polite is racist, you assholes. So they try to put this plaque up at the Smithsonian Black History Museum. Of course, because it was so absurd, they actually overdid it. Oh, I just closed that. I didn't mean to do that. Damn it. So there you have it. So by that definition, pretty much everyone in the world is racist. I mean, honestly, the shit that some people come up with. But it was too absurd to last. They overstepped there. You can't, if you go too full woke, you know what I mean? The full retard. Sorry about that. Yeah, it is absurd. That's what everybody's been saying all day. That's why they're not going to put it up now. It's stupid. How does one live life for a minute like this? You don't. You don't. If it's just absurd. People just need to I don't know. I just think a lot of people need to dunk their head in a big tub of ice and cool off. Yeah, no. Martin Luther King has been rolling in his grave right now. Martin Luther King is trying to resurrect himself. That's how crazy that shit is. Profiting ethnicity is just bad. I'm tired of people not understanding that everyone is their own individual no matter what ethnicity they are. Actually, and the thing of it is that thing right there that we just went over, that's actually more racist towards minorities. Because it's telling minorities that all ideas, all concepts were only invented by white people because minorities weren't capable. People just read really good ass beatings. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, we need another one. You're right. The real sound. He was all about equality and putting one above the other. It's really sad how people speak his name and have an absolute hate in their hearts. Who are you referring to there? You and Sayaka. Let me roll up because I missed that. Yeah, it's absurd the shit they're coming up with now. Oh yeah, Martin Luther King. No, what's gonna happen is I think there because the other side is starting to mobilize. I mean, what was it the other day in New York? They had there was a huge protest and thousands of people basically obstructed the Brooklyn Bridge, and it was a Blue Lives Matter or like a protest in favor of cops. So people are starting to get sick of this shit, and I really don't think. I really think. I mean, it's gonna get worse before it gets better, but I don't see this going on for much longer. If anything, remember a lot of this crazy shit's happening if you're living in a blue state mostly. California is getting bad. Portland, Oregon, holy shit, they're really fucked. Even New York. New York's under occupied. There's another Chaz 2.0. I think that's the one in Oregon. What other state is doing really bad with this kind of shit? Oh, Atlanta. Atlanta's still doing bad. But these are all places, like these cities, they're all democratically run. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, Pimp. I mean, not all, obviously, but there are some black people out now that are pretty much pull the mask down. I mean, they're showing just how much they hate white people, you know? What's sad is the white people who also hate white people. Like, have some fucking pride. Who do I think is going to win? Dude, history dictates that good always prevails. I'll go with history. I don't think like social media right now looks like a great way to get out a message, and it may appear that social media is like the all encompassing power play. But when you think about the kind of people who are on social media, think about everything they do is just for clout. They want upvotes, they want retweets. That doesn't, in the end, that's not going to be enough to win. It's not. You could upvote and retweet and bitch and moan all you want. At the end of the day, it's always action that's going to win. Those who take action. Sitting in your fucking Starbucks drinking a latte and retweeting and upvoting dumb shit and saying crazy shit so you can get another viral post. At the end of the day, that's not going to win. Action always wins. People who take action will win. Atlanta is in Georgia with Brian Kemp as the head. Yeah, soy lattes. That's right. Yeah, I just don't see that. I just don't see that being the end all be all. Being white, I'm not allowed to have pride in who I am because I'm labeled a racist. Is this crazy? I think everybody should have pride in who they are, regardless of skin tone. Yeah.
Newt's for Kaiju tipped $1. In my old neighborhood in Brooklyn, they did away with the anti-crime unit. The Great de Blasio defunded $1 billion and now one day ago the Black Council members are calling for it to come back because the crime rate doubled in only a month.
That's true.
LOL.
De Blasio is the stupidest the stupidest politician I think I've ever seen in action. The guy is, I don't know how the fuck he ever got into politics. He is a fucking idiot. He is really dumb. I don't know how the fuck he got voted in. There's no way. I don't think this racism battle humanity has had since forever will ever end. No, it won't end, but it's going to reach a tipping point. And I think that's where we're headed right now. And you want to know something? I'm going to say something pretty crazy right now. You know what will really bring this country together? Unfortunately, and I've said this before, but I'm gonna modify. Long time ago, not too long ago, but when we've had these discussions before, I said that it would literally take another attack on the United States to bring people together. But I think we're a little bit too aware of that right now. I don't think it could necessarily happen. I do think, wow, that actually turned out pretty good. I'm looking at my beard. I'm like, holy shit. But I'll tell you one thing. If we were to go out, if war were to break out between China and the United States, that's when I think this shit will come to an end. It would take something worse than humans to make us work together, something to make us look less bad. Aliens. Aliens would bring us together. Yeah, Rogue, I did hear her say that. She is a fucking idiot. God, what an embarrassment to the Latin community, AOC. Yeah, we do need Lenny. couple of weeks. Did I keep my wire in? Okay, it should be charged. Nah, Cold War's not enough. We need shock treatment. We need a doctor in Manhattan. AOC. Yeah, Lenny would piss off a lot of people first. Then he'd bring them together. You know how many people would call me racist for doing Lenny? I've already had it happen once. Yeah, I've heard of that volcano, Mike. Our survival instincts would kick in and we would be forced to work together. Very true. Or some would run around screaming, "The end is nigh." We're just discussing regular stuff. We were supposed to discuss conspiracy theories and kind of got into talking about war with China because that seems like it's going to be happening some point. AOC, aka How Do Dishwashers Work? There was someone I heard call her Alexandria Occasional Cortex, which I thought was pretty good. Alexandria Occasional Cortex. Why do you think it won't happen, Mike? Let's hear this. Let's hear Mike's wisdom. Go ahead, Mike. Put me at ease, Mike. Why won't it happen? Share your knowledge, Mikey boy. You know, we're close to the end of the stream, so let's end it on a high note. I know. Yeah, Crowder's funny. I'm sure he's typing his response. Give him a second. He's probably typing on his phone, which takes forever. Mike. Come on, Mike. I know it hurts, but yeah. Here we go. There's many reasons, but I don't feel like typing. Oh, here, of course. But I will say a war between the two biggest economies and both own nukes won't happen when each country is facing social unrest. Yeah, I'm not convinced. Also, we came a lot closer to war with Russia that never happened. I don't know, Mike. I don't know if you're paying attention to the news or not.
Newts for Kaiju tipped $1. Good point. I'd like to hear these assholes calling for defunding the police after another 9/11. As far as AOC, if that bitch lived in South Chicago, East New York or Oregon, she wouldn't be flapping so much.
That war with Russia didn't happen thanks to a fellow Cali's bin Laden, Mike. I don't feel like typing them out equals got no reason, LOL. That's kind of what I was thinking. Because, all right, so let's see here. First, we have sanctions, all right? We have um, China moved in on Hong Kong. So because of that, the president responded with an executive order to stop all benefits that Hong Kong used to get from the United States so that they don't benefit China or Beijing. Beijing's been moving in on the Southeast Asia Pacific. Now, the United States just declared the other day for the first time ever that they will no longer remain neutral in the South Pacific and are sending strong messages to China to stop their expansion. China warned in return that the United States better not get involved. China's already having skirmishes with India. India's being supported by the United States. China's been putting sanctions on the United States now. I mean, it's going to reach a boiling point. We did what in the past? Mike, you hear what I just said, right? It's the first time ever that United States said they will no longer remain neutral in the South Asian Sea. In other words, they are telling China, stop fucking around, otherwise we're going to get involved. The first time they've ever done that, Mike. That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Tagera Godzilla super chatted $5. Bobby/Tagera Godzilla, Rob, and Kinky Dora versus Mike, Kajusaurus, and Assassin.
Well, Mike's on his own. Assassin and Kajusaurus are gone. Why the hell do we still have nukes? They cause a lot of destruction and would bring us to near extinction if we... Because nobody wants to get rid of them. Nobody wants to be the first because they know that the other person would never get rid of them. Going on, Mike, a war might be the wild card the president needs to stay in office. Nah, actually, that's not true, Jonesy. Hold on. Give me a second. Sorry about that. No, no. Nobody's in trouble. People don't want to get rid of the nukes because it's a scare tactic. Plus, one country could keep the nukes in secret. It's kind of hard to keep that secret now, though. Everybody knows. Everybody, all countries know who have them. So funny you say that. There was a person actually. Wait, what? There was a person trying to scam a user at my film. Their actual sending address was, oh, trust me, at Comcast.net. That's funny. Now, if there wasn't nukes and we were in an election year pandemic, then I would agree. Am I still? No, I'm not muted anymore. I'm talking. Like, you can't hear me? I see the bar going green. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. I was gonna say. Here's how to tell if D-Man's name the Ultraman that debuted in the 90s. Who said Trump's going to jail? What's he going to jail for? With nukes at everyone's disposal, we at least know that everyone is too afraid to push the launch button, knowing that it would end result would fuck themselves over. Yeah, just because countries have nukes is not going to deter them from having war. Most, even in the middle of war, most countries won't use a nuke. I'm skeptical because we have had people pretending to be other people in chat before. Oh yeah, yeah, that was a bit of an issue for a while. Yeah, I don't think having nukes is going to be a deterrent. Nukes are always meant as a last resort. That's why we used the bomb in Japan. Rob, does it bother you when people call Native Americans Indians? That irked me growing up. No, that's what they are. Why would it irk? Shouldn't irk you. Just imagine someone just got in the live stream asking why Nuke's Top 5 is a deterrent. We should get rid of our nukes by dropping them all on China. Oh, that's horrible. Indians are from India. Well, that's true. What does that have to do with Indians from America, though? We kind of just went in and out of conspiracy theories. We didn't really stick on one subject. Indigenous people. The reason, all right, here's the problem, okay? Most countries, and Mike's right on this, most countries will avoid war at all costs. The problem is when you have countries that are aggressively moving like China, eventually war will happen. I mean, this is what happened with World War One and World War Two. You had whenever, in other words, what I'm trying to say is in history through all the wars, many times, with the exception of all the times the war was started based on a religious or some sort of you know crusade or a jihad, but most of the big wars in history all started when there was one aggressor continuously expanding. Persia, right? There was a big war that included Persia because Persia was pretty much taking over all of Europe. Okay. Germany, twice. Um, During that war, Japan was expanding exponentially. And if they had known, you want to hear something crazy? If Japan had any more intelligence than what they had, they literally could have invaded us through the West Coast and they would have gotten as far in as Chicago before we had any chance to stop them. Most wars are because of aggressive expansion. That is exactly what China is doing right now. They are aggressively expanding. They're infringing on India. They're even infringing on Russia. They've already taken over Hong Kong, and they're trying to take over all of Southeast Asia and Pacific. That's usually what starts wars, is when there's one country trying to aggressively expand. That's why I think it's only a matter of time before a war breaks out. And it may not be the United States that starts that. Because India right now is ready to throw down with China. And if India gets involved with China, eventually the United States are going to get involved. It is, but it was an autonomous. It was actually owned by the British, and I forget how this went, but the British, I believe it was a couple of years ago, there was a pact that would allow Hong Kong to remain an independent, free, I want to say country. What's the word they use for it? I can't remember what the word was. Anyway, they were supposed to remain a free city, I guess. There's another word for it. I can't remember what it is. And it was promised that China wouldn't get involved and try to assimilate them into China. And again, that's another example of how they obviously broke that. There's a clip going around. In fact, I want to see if I can find it. Maybe this will convince Mike just how serious things are with China. There's a clip online showing Hong Kong. Let's see if I can find this. Citizens of Hong Kong being taken into buses and sent over to gulags or something similar. See if I can find it. Let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. It's kind of tough to find. May not even be online anymore. Okay. That was last year. Yeah, I can't find it. They were talking about it on the news earlier today. But there were buses in Hong Kong that were taking people. Damn, I wish I could find the video. Shit. You're just debunking. You're debunking my overreaction of war happening this year? Well, how did you debunk it? You didn't provide any evidence or any sources to show that I could potentially be wrong. Meanwhile, I have explained to you in detail exactly what's happening as to why it could lead to war. So I don't see how you debunked anything, to be quite honest. All you're saying is I'm overreacting. But I'd rather overreact and not be caught with my pants down than be nonchalant about it and then wake up one day and it's like war's broken out. And you should take it more seriously. You're young enough to be drafted. So I'd pay very close attention if I were you. Rob, did you say Playmates HD images of the new? Not only did I see it, we spoke about it for the first 40 minutes of the stream. Do you really think Trump would go to war in an election year? I don't think he'd want to go to war in an election year, but if your hand is forced, what choice do you have? Do you really think it would even really hurt him if it did? Nobody in this country is a fan of China right now. If it was a war of justified reasons, I don't think many people would be against it. I mean, this is a country that is rapidly expanding. They, within not even a month of Hong Kong being declared independent, they went in and curtailed them. Not even a month. And they took over already. I mean, that's insane. And with everything that's happened in the last 2 days between China and the United States alone, I don't think you're appreciating the severity of how rapidly this is moving. You're very nonchalant about it. And you're not providing any evidence to counter minds that would show that there's nothing to be concerned about. You know, political motivation be damned. If there's a country that is rapidly moving to take over, and what they're doing are going to hurt the freedom of people, and your hand is forced, you don't have a choice. If you sit down and you look weak, you're just as likely to lose the election that way. I know. I don't disagree with him there, Mr. L. I don't think people generally want to go to war. But if people know why we're going to war and the reason is justified, I don't think they're necessarily against it. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, put it this way, if Trump just started bombing China right now, yeah, that'll definitely hurt him. He probably wouldn't get reelected. But if China starts moving in on Thailand now, they're already messing with India. They're flirting with a city that's on a border with Russia, and they're already taking Hong Kong. I mean, think about it. And everybody in this country knows that the virus came from China. There's a portion of people in this country that support China, which makes people even more pissed about China's influence on companies over here. China is not well liked generally by this country because of what they've been doing. If they force Trump's hand to go to war, and don't be surprised if they're going to want to, and they're not dumb too, Mike. They think like you do. They think that if they can get Trump into a war, it'll get him out of office and they won't have to deal with him anymore. Because he's been the toughest president on China that we've had in years. Even more so than George Bush, definitely more so than Barack. If Biden gets the presidency, China knows they can walk all over him. But China's also smart because they know that if they make the first move and the United States responds, that's just going to, at least I think they're smart enough to know that. But they also have a decision to make. So rather than shoot the first gun, they're just aggressively expanding. Think about how strategic of what they're doing. The world gets shut down. Suddenly, China starts rapidly expanding in different areas. They bought off the WHO. They went around and started donating, even though the reports showed that they were charging other countries for PPE supplies during the middle of the coronavirus outbreak. I mean, these motherfuckers are evil, dude. And nobody in this country is blind to that. So, I mean, I'm more than positive there's a number of people in this country that would love to see a B-52 fly over Beijing. They won't openly say it because, you know, at the end of the day, you really know you don't want war. But I bet you any amount of money, if the news broke that 50 B-52s bombarded Beijing, I'm willing to bet 70% of this country would be cheering. Yeah, but Mike, you got to remember, those lies in Iraq, that was the Bush administration. Different administration, dude. And that was like 20 years ago. That's not going to affect any decision made now. Plus, you got to remember, right now, people have a positive view on how Trump handles affairs with other countries that are a threat. When Syria attacked their own people with chemicals like 3 years ago, Trump responded in kind, and that was one of the rare moments that Trump got praise from both sides. Not only the conservatives, but even the left praised him for that. Okay? He's already killed 2 major terrorists, one of them from Iran. I mean, every strategic military move, every military decision he has made, there haven't been many, but the ones he has made have been received very positively. So you're thinking that a different administration is going to affect what people think about what might happen here with China. Dude, you're couldn't be further from the truth. Couldn't be further from the truth. I guarantee you 70% of this country will cheer. Will cheer if they were to drop bombs on Beijing. Guarantee you. Nobody likes China right now. Nobody. What happened was a couple of years ago in Syria, I think his name is Hassan, I forget. But the guy that, the one who's in power there, was using chemicals against his own people. And he was warned by Trump not to do it. And then he went and did it again, and then Trump bombed the shit out of him. And then from that point forward, he never did it again. So... I don't think it'll be, even if they go into war, like, I don't think it's going to be World War III. I don't think anyone's going to want to get involved in that. Even Russia, like, people think Russia and China are going to team up. China's infringing on Russia right now. They're not going to team up with China. They don't like China. I mean, Russia has their own plans, but even Russia's not bold enough to rapidly expand, not with NATO in their face. But they also don't want China infringing on their shit. And that's what China's trying to do. Yeah, we can't attack first, but we have in the past, and we will again if we have to. Oh, I'll guarantee you. In fact, something happened. Oh God, here's the thing: there's so much news to take in. I can't remember it at all by this time of the night. But there was something that, in regards to the executive order that I was referring to before, there was also a sanction that United States and British teamed up on that affected China too. But I just can't remember exactly what it was. But oh yeah, no, nobody would be on China's side. Nobody. Not even Russia, I don't think, would be on their side. So it wouldn't be a world war. It would mainly be United States and whatever countries that are affected by China versus. So it would be like India, maybe Thailand, you know what I mean, and Russia, maybe, would all just team up on China. China wouldn't try to, well, they're not that bold, but I mean, obviously if they could, I'm sure they would, but they're kind of taking us over on a financial level. That's why Trump signed that executive order. Basically, that executive order is so painful because for anyone that works in China, there was a warning issued to people that like United States people that live in China, telling them that they should leave soon because pretty soon they could be prisoners of war. Like, it's really not a joke. Like, a lot of people don't pay attention because, you know, the news is mainly talking about like the coronavirus and all this other shit. But there's a lot of shit brewing with China right now that it's not out there the way it should be, but it's a lot more serious than people think. And people always have the same reaction. Oh, nothing's going to happen. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense, Mike. That doesn't mean it'll stop. That doesn't mean it'll stop a war. They want to expand. There are countries that don't want them to expand. Eventually, sanctions can only do so much. Yep, we gotta end it. It's 10 o'clock. So yeah. All right. Tomorrow we'll do Son of Godzilla. We gotta give one of the shitty movies a chance. At 8 o'clock, Son of Godzilla. And yeah, Saturday there will be no stream because we have to finish packing and moving and shit. And yeah, that's it. That is it. I'll see. What was I gonna say? No, I think that was all I was gonna say. Yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Son of Godzilla. Saturday no stream, and then maybe back next Tuesday. I'll let you know. But you guys take it easy. Have a good night. And I'll talk to you guys later.